This may have been a pretty quiet offseason across much of the NBA, but for the Portland Trail Blazers, their roster is looking completely different. What a fun team they've assembled. Thanks to some solid drafting and smart blockbuster trades, the Blazers have turned what was looking like a 3 or 4 year rebuild into a team that, if things break right, could be competing for a spot in the play-in tournament and shock lots of teams this season. In today's video, I'm laying out the new faces on this Trailblazers team, breaking down just how scary good this roster is, and I'm laying out my predictions for the season. Thanks so much for checking out the channel today. My name is Troy, and this is the Half Court Report. Be sure you click that thumbs up button and hit the subscribe button too. I am coming at you with the freshest NBA news and content that you're going to find on YouTube. I would love to have you be part of the channel. Guys, be sure and stay tuned to the end of this video for my official prediction on what record the Blazers will have. But let's start off by going through the roster because I want to take a deep dive into some of these players. Let's start with the backcourt. And Dame, you're going to go down in history as maybe the best Blazer ever, my man, but it was time to move on. All good things come to an end. And the next good thing, he's already here. Scoot Henderson, you are next. I still can't believe that Portland was able to draft this guy at the number 3 spot. The Charlotte Hornets had him sitting right there and went with Brandon Miller. When it happened, I said that I think this will go down as a Hasheem Thabeet level draft fumble. Scoot is just that good. He's strong, he's athletic, he's explosive, so good near the rim, 6'9" wingspan, high basketball IQ, very coachable. This is a guy who wants to win and he wants to get better. And yeah, I know, he needs to improve his three-point shot, but this kid has it all to be great. And you know, it kind of feels weird to say it now, but is it out of line to think that in 10 years, Scoot could surpass what Lillard has done in Portland? And then you have Anthony Simons joining Scoot in the backcourt. I'm really interested to see how this season goes for him. Last year, he averaged 21 points, 4 assists, and shot 38% from 3. That was his best year in the NBA, and Simons is the longest tenured Blazer on the team. So you know he's going to want to make it his team and be the alpha, and there's nothing wrong with that, and I agree with him in a sense, but I just don't see him and Scoot as long-term options together in the backcourt. I worry about their size. Scoot is 6'2", Simons is 6'3". I also worry about that defensive combination. The thing is, though, the Blazers could get a pretty good return for Simons via trade. Maybe like a shooter with some size who can play some defense. So look for that to be an option for the Blazers as early as this season. And Portland has a great player already when and if Simons is traded. I'm talking about the Canadian crossover Shaedon Sharpe. He averaged 10 points and 3 rebounds a game as a rookie, but those numbers do not really paint the whole picture because at the end of the year, when Dame was sitting, he averaged 24 points and looked like a beast out there. He's another big-time athlete, and Sharpe's improvement could make a Simons trade happen sooner rather than later. And then real quick on Malcolm Brogdon, he was a big part of that Drew Holiday trade, who they of course got after they traded Lillard. And I know that Brogdon is older and he's got some injury concerns, but this is a guy who plays multiple positions. He can defend, he can pass, he can shoot. He's a member of the 50-40-90 club. He's on a very tradable contract. Again, lots of things Portland can do with Malcolm Brogdon. Then there's some guys in the front court that I want to talk about. Jeremy Grant got lots of pub this offseason due to that massive extension that he signed. 5 years and $160 million. People were like, what is Portland doing? They're rebuilding, and this guy doesn't fit with their youth movement, but they're still giving him all that money. But I think it was one of those things where you sign Grant so you don't lose him for nothing in free agency. It seems like an overpay on the surface, but I think it's still a pretty tradable contract if the Blazers decide to go that route. Last year with the Trailblazers, Grant averaged 20 points per game, shot a career best from 3, 40%, and he is the type of complementary piece that a championship team loves to have. Put him on that roster, surround your stars with him, let him be like that fourth option. And if we know anything about this Blazers front office, we know that they're going to get lots of value back when they trade their guys away. For instance, Deandre Payton, the Blazers' new starting center. He came over from the Phoenix Suns in that Lillard trade, and I think he could flourish in Portland. He's going to be featured offensively as part of their young core moving forward, and he certainly has the talent to get it done. 6'11", 250 pounds. He can score on the block. He can shoot from mid-range. Going to be an excellent rim runner and lob catcher with Henderson, Simons, and Brogdon in the pick and roll. I think that'll be a big part of their offense. Then you've also got Robert Williams III, who can play a number of roles in the rotation. He came over with Brogdon from Boston in the Holiday trade. And as long as Williams is healthy, he is as much of a threat as Ayton in the pick and roll, and he's also one of the league's best defensive big men and rim protectors. So he could serve as a backup to Ayton, but I also think that assuming Williams is healthy, he's going to spend a lot of time on the floor with Ayton. But with Williams, injuries are always a concern, but the talent is definitely there. Elsewhere, you have Matisse Thybulle playing that killer defense. I think Chris Murray, who was a first-round pick this past draft after a great career at Iowa, is being overlooked and could contribute immediately as a glue guy who does the dirty work, who hustles, defends, rebounds. And then Toumani Camara is sneaky good, too, as a shooter and a defender. He also came over with DeAndre Ayton from Phoenix. But again, it's going to come down to the shooting because the Blazers really only have reliable three-point shooters in Jeremy Grant, Anthony Simons, and Malcolm Brogdon. Nobody else is really proven. And I was reading an article in the Blazers Edge. It was called The Joys and Perils of the New Trail Blazers Roster. And the guy who wrote it, his name's Dave, he said because of that lack of reliable three-point shooting, the Scoot and DeAndre pick and roll has to get good really, really fast if Portland wants to generate quality three-point attempts. And even then, the opportunity cost might be high because the Blazers definitely need Simons and Grant in the primary mix and not just on the sideline. So those guys are going to have to contribute a lot. So this can be sorted out, but it's going to take time. And no matter what Portland does, the odds are high that opponents are going to crowd the lane. They're going to force the ball to one of the other shooters on a regular basis. And Portland's going to have to figure out what to do. Coach Chauncey Billups needs to have a good game plan in place. And the coaching staff really needs to coach up these guys and have them ready to shoot some threes. So I'm looking for the Blazers to go shopping at the trade deadline for a shooter or two. And as far as my prediction of how they will do this season, let's give the Blazers a record of 33 and 59. And along the way, I think they're going to surprise some folks and be lots of fun to watch on League Pass. The future is bright in Portland. Y'all need to be excited. Let me know in the comments what you expect from Portland this year. If you're a Blazers fan, then I expect a comment. Since you've watched this far, be sure to drop a like for the YouTube algorithm. Click that subscribe button too so you never miss another NBA video. And hey, speaking of young players that I'm excited to see, if you're a Warriors fan, then you have been hearing a lot of good things about Usman Garuba, the recent signee to a two-way contract for the Warriors. One of the best young defenders in the NBA, runs the floor hard. I made a whole video about him and what he's going to bring to the team. Check it out, and I'll catch you next time on the Half Court Report.